All right, we're recording.
Okay, so here we're doing 3x4 inch plate for leveling off the bottom of at 1.6 millimeters off the bottom. The plate is 3 inches wide and 4 inches high, and that's the name of the file. So we're now going to go and do a contour to do the toolpath. Where's the contour?
You have to click on the triangle. You have to cancel that and click on the triangle to get the menu, because the contour is in the menu. That's the only way you can get to it.
Okay. And then this here is the contour.
Contour line toolpath, correct.
Contour line toolpath. So I'm going to collect that.
And what that will do, it's going to cut whatever object you selected. When it's filled, it's going to cut everything that is filled. So it's going to cut out this entire square. So what bit I have now, that is the biggest bit I have, is a 0.6. So that's the bit I have. And then the preset is going to be the end mill contour line for engraving, because that goes at 6 millimeters a second. And right now, this is set to do like smaller objects. So we're actually going to show you how to add a new one, and we're going to make a new one for this particular thing that we are doing, because this toolpath I created to cut smaller objects like a pendant to re-etch after putting the pendant back inside. So we're going to create a new tool preset now, because now we're doing this a little bit different. We don't want this to do 2 passes. We want this to do 1 pass, because right now it has a Z-pitch. You can put your mouse over it. The Z-pitch, which tells it to do how deep to go for each pass. So we're just going to do 1 pass at, we can do 0.4 millimeters. So we're going we're going to create a new one. So we're going to go click on Edit up there, and then we're going to hit Add. And then we're going to name it. So whatever name you think you want to know.
So we're going to name it end mill.
Now you can't read the whole line, so I would, I'd make it short so you know what it is.
Yeah, this is end mill contour. Contour. And then this is for leveling. A 3x4. By 4 inch leveling, a 3x4 inch with 1-6 0 millimeters bottom. Contour leveling, 3x4 plate. This will know that's inches. Take that out. That's 1.6 millimeters off the bottom. And now this is using, well, when I click this, it'll tell me that because we're going to save it, it'll always go back to the 0.06. I don't need to write.
Correct.
Okay. And I need to change this pitch though here, right?
Right. We're not going to change for this
depth.
tool, this is a flat end mill.
Right.
So we're not going to do a Z pitch.
So unclick it.
Unclick that. Let's do point. I believe I did 0.4 millimeters down. 0.4 millimeters. And then you can put the speed to 20 millimeters a second, so you can go pretty fast. And you can do X and Y. I'm sorry, X, Y, yeah, X and Y. Z you can leave at 6 because
Okay.
that's it going down. So you don't need to speed down, but you'll speed across up and down. Okay. Z clearance will leave at 1.5. That's fine because you actually just change it to 2 because we know the plate is not completely level right now. So we just want to make sure we go up above the plate. So we do make sure we don't hit it at all. There's no chance of hitting it at 2 millimeters. Okay. The hatching gap I did at 0.4. So that is the hatching gap is the difference between your lines. So you want that to be not over. You want it to be.
Why wouldn't it be? If we're doing 0.6 in the center, you got 0.3, 0.3. Right? So if you say, what's that gap? What's this number mean?
That number is that's the center line of where your bit's traveling, right? So you can't do it over 0.6 because then you'll have extra little pieces in there, right? And you could do it 0.3, but if you stretch it out a little bit, let it just kind of hit the edge of the, maybe come across a little bit more than half the bit, then you'll just save time because you won't have as many lines going back and forth. So that's why I did it at 0.4. If you wanted to experiment and try it, 0.5, you can.
No, just leave it at 0.4.
But I believe 0.4 worked fine. We're not going to do any margin because we want to go right to the edge. We want to be right on the edge of our box. So we want no margin. We don't need a dwell time. That's just letting it spin when it comes up. But we have no plastic that needs to spin off before the next cut. Z faster approach is fine. Let it go down slow.
The red color is fine.
Red color is fine. And then tool path quality. Let's put that to better. Just so it's a little bit higher quality. And then we'll hit OK. And then we'll have a new preset in the...
Why is that flashing?
It's letting you know that you're doing something fast. I think it does that automatically.
Okay.
So, like, if you were, say you put on sterling silver or some kind of metal, as soon as you touch the metal, it's going to break that bit.
Yeah.
So it's just letting you know that, hey, you're doing something fast. Just be careful. Just because when you do stuff, you're going to break stuff. So, and then what we're going to do now is hit create toolpath. And I would recommend with this program, before you get the new program, if it's the old program, that you save it before you hit create toolpath. We did save it right before this video. So you just hit file save or file save as, give it a name, and save it because the program has a tendency to crash. So go ahead and click that, and it should hopefully work. Oh no. Okay, so it crashed. So we're going to open the program back up. We're going to go to File, and our recent thing that we just did should be right. No. See, it's not there when it crashes because it doesn't realize I had it open. It's saved, so you need to go back to Open and find it. So it should be the top one. Right now, it's sorted by date modified. So it's going to be the first one there. You can sort stuff in folders by date modified and name. Right now it's date modified, so it's definitely going to be that first one. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll just click on the box and make sure we're not moving it, because that's the box we want to create the toolpath. And then we'll go up to the top and get the menu. And then we're going to, contour line toolpath, and we're going to do our 0.6 bit. And then that did save, so that's saved there. And then we're going to hit create toolpath. Now, if it crashes again, Let's see what happens. If it crashes again, then we're going to change the tool path back to normal, because there may be a problem with it being better. That is something I did see with a couple of the actions. Yeah, so let's open it back up, and we'll go back to normal. So let's go to File, and then Open. Yep, we'll open that back up. We'll have to either double click or hit Open at the bottom. Either double click on the name fast or open at the bottom. And then we have to click on and highlight the square. And we're going to go down on our menu. Yeah. And then we're going to go to Contour. Now we're going to click on 0.6 again, 0.6 millimeter. And then we're going to click on the Edit at the top right. We're going to edit our preset. And then we're going to hit Edit, which is right in that box, right next to the box. And then we're going to go from Bevel, we're going to go back to normal at the bottom. We're next to the OK button. And then we'll hit OK. And then we'll hit Create Tool Path. Yep, that's good.
Okay.
So then we're going to go ahead.
Got a new plate?
What's that? Yeah, we're going to get a new plate. We're going to get a new plate here. I'll just use this one.
Okay. So we want to line it back up straight again, right?
You want me to stop this video?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stop this video here. Okay, so we set the tool, and the tool we're
Plate.
in
Tool and the plate have been set and zeroed. Plate's been zeroed. The tool has been changed using the change tool process. So now we're ready to initially cut out the plate. So we're going to click the four corners here, because this will be the first time we're cutting something today. And we're doing this to let the machine know where the cutting area is in relationship to the machine. So I'm going to click this corner. I'm going to hold down each one.
Have to be very careful not to have them not move.
Okay, did they move?
I don't believe so. I think that looks good.
Okay.
Now we're going to click on our device that's connected, because our machine, the machine we're going to use should be connected right now.
Okay, so button up the shift key.
Yes, so we're just going to click on that machine.
Yep.
Now we're going to, we don't need to engrave, so we're just going to simulate engraving. We just want to double check and make sure the machine knows where it's at.
Okay, so here there's a toolpath order that's coming up. So explain what we're doing.
Okay, so right now we're not going to really worry about any of those settings at all.
Okay.
Okay, because we're not cutting anything. There's a button that says
material is flat.
Yeah, there's a button that says simulate engraving.
Here.
Okay, yeah. That's the only one we're going to use right now.
Okay.
Okay, because we want to just check and make sure the plate is doing the correct thing. So what that is going to do is
simulate as if it was cutting it out.
you're going to see the red dot and we're going to make sure the red dot is doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to click on Simulate Engraving, and we're going to go back to the machine. I'm recording this too, so I'm just going to put them together. So you'll see there's a red dot in the center of the machine there. So how I check it is, it should always be correct, but I always just double check that there's nothing funny happening. So on the machine you have 4 buttons that are like a D-pad, right? Like on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can go left, up, right,
Right,
down.
Right.
So
this one right now is on the X.
right now the tool path is in the center. What you're doing with these buttons, you can manually move the 0 of the machine. So you do not want to do that. So if you hit it once, it's going to go to the left center edge. If you click right, it's going to go to the right center edge. If you click up, it's going to go to the top center edge. But if you click the go to the left center, and you click and hold that, it's going to move the machine and tell it, okay, you want me to go to the left, and put me a little bit more to the left. We don't want to do that, because that's why we created our 4 blocks in this on the screen in the program, our template file. So we want to just check and make sure it is where it's supposed to be. Okay? So with the machine, the way I figured out the best way to do this is, when you go to the left, it's not going to go all the way to the edge of the plate. Okay? I just lose that little bit of cutting area, but I gain, more cutting area on the other side. So what we want to do, it's always going to be like that on the left edge, and then when we go down, when we hit down, it should be right on the edge of that plate. And you can see that half of the laser's on it, and you see a little half off of it. So that's perfect. Okay? Now, this should go pretty far to the side. Yeah, and this goes all the way to this edge. So you're getting this whole cutting area all the way to that edge.
Okay.
So what you want to make sure is that when you go do this, you want to make sure that it goes down across the bottom edge and this plane when you 0 it. Okay? When you run this program, you want to hit left, hit down, and hit right. So left, down, right.
Can I re-hit it again?
You can. So hang on.
Yep.
Okay. You can get the machine to go back to the center by hitting this pointer button. This will put it back in the center. Okay. So this is like how we originally started. Okay.
Okay, so where is this dot right here in relationship? It's not in the center of this plate.
Right,
it's in the center. It's in the center
of the cutting area.
Yeah, so it's in the center based on you're leaving a little bit more on this side.
Right, but we didn't we didn't talk about this. Okay, you can change with this pointer button, right? We just clicked it to go back to the center. But what that has done is now if you click these buttons, it's going to move the center point where you want it. So whatever button you hit at this point, it would move the center, and you can see on the screen
what it's moving. We don't
what
want
it's
to move
moving. Let me just go ahead and zoom in there. See, it says center moving mode. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to move the sides. So we're going to click that again. See, it says boundary moving mode. Okay, but it's still left it in the center. I put it back in the center, so we can just try this.
Okay,
right?
I'm gonna hit
So
just once, all the way to the left.
Yes, each button you're going to click once. Right, that should be just off the edge there.
There it is. And the bottom should just be on
It should be exactly on the edge of the plate. Very, very close.
Yep. And then the Y should go all the way to the far end of the plate.
The X plus.
X plus. Right on the end. So this looks like it's done right.
Yep.
Okay.
It should always do that, I always just check it
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure if the machine was turned on and something happened, something else was cut. It's always a good check before you hit the start button to make sure before you waste a plate or waste 2 hours cutting that it's in the right spot, because that's a very simple thing that can be easily overlooked.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we're going to hit cancel. Okay? And then we're going to go back to our screen here. We only have one more thing to do because this is now set up to cut where we want it to cut. Okay? So we're going to click on this. And then we're going to hit the... No, we already created the toolpath.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We just need to click on it to make it orange, to highlight it.
Okay.
Right? Our toolpath. And then we're going to hit the devices. Right? We're going to go back where we were before.
Right.
But we're just now have our...
Now we're going to actually not simulate it. We're going to actually start the engraving.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So you're going to click that button.
Right. So we're going to start the engraving. And it's going to go and tell you where it's going to start. Okay, actually let's back up. I'll edit this part out. Let's just talk about this for a little bit. Okay, so when we start the engraving, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when you do your first cut,
You should know the surface height.
you always want to have surface height selected.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just do this again. Oh, it's still recording. Perfect. All right. Is this recording? Yeah. All right. So we're going to click on this. So whenever we cut something for the first time, we always want to tell it the surface height. That's for a plate, for the etching,
anything we're cutting.
any action.
Right.
So we want surface height. The only time we don't use the surface height is like the second pass of a plate, where we have a lot of oil on the plate. It already knows what it is. We're just going to do a second pass.
Right.
Okay? So we always want to have surface height selected. It's always a good thing to have that selected. There's nothing else that I check on here. It's always a flat plate, and then everything else is always set. So then we do start engraving. This is going to send the command to the machine. It will move itself to the center of the cutting position. And then what you do now to start the machine is you hold down the start button.
Well, I can check the boundaries though, right? Of exactly what it's going to come out, or no?
You can. So let's check that. We want to make sure it goes off the top of the plate, which it should. Right?
Yes,
we want
slightly, and it should be
Right.
1.6 off the bottom.
Exactly. So you can do the same thing, right? Because it defaults to boundary moving. Okay?
Right? So I'm going to hit the bottom, and it should come down to 1.6 off the bottom.
Yes, but you're going to have to use, that's not a touchpad. You're going to have to use your 4
Oh.
arrow keys
Got
there.
it.
Right, the Y minus. Just click it once.
Yeah. Perfect.
Exactly. And then you can go left, right if you want.
No, I want to just check the top. It should go
Make
off
sure that
the
goes
plate.
off.
Just barely off.
Right.
Yep. Perfect. And then I'll check this side. Oh, shit.
It's fine.
Yep. That's where that is.
And
That's
then,
that's the
Right.
60 degrees. Or
Right.
60 something. And then this is going to end over here.
right.
Okay. Got it.
Now, this is still the same width I had it. Did you want to make it thinner?
What will we make thinner?
Like the width, because this is wider than the plate. We can do that. I mean, this is the process. You just hold down start and it'll go.
I think to level it, we only need 2 sides, right? I mean, I don't think we need to make it exact.
But this is like bigger, remember? Like it's wider than the plate. Did you want to thin it out so it cuts faster?
You're saying, well, I want a little room on one side. What you're saying is it's this big, and the plate is only here?
Where's the one we just used? this wide.
Yeah, I mean it's way wider than it needs to be, but it's not that much wider.
Okay.
I mean, you could cut it in half if you want to just cut that much off of it. Will it save that much more time?
Yes, exactly. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, well then do that.
Okay.
But you got to go back to the template and save it and redo everything again. No.
Just have to
Manually
make it thinner and then just re-hit it and have it redo the thing again.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Did you want to continue recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be
something you may run into. If you want to change something.
So now we're going to slightly change the box that we're milling out to level the plate because it's a little bit too big to what we want. So the process to do that.
So let's measure the plate and see exactly what millimeter it is. So these all should be around like 76 millimeters. So we can do whatever you'd like, 78, 80.
I would do 80.
80? Okay. So what we're going to do, make sure we're still recording on here. We are. So you may have a toolpath over what you're doing. So we just need to delete that. So we want to make sure, right now it's selected. If it's not selected, we just click on it. We make sure that it's yellow, it becomes yellow. We'll delete it. Okay. Then we'll click again on our object we want to make our toolpath on. And we're going to go back to contour. Okay. And then we're going to go to 0.6 contour. Before that, okay. We want to make this thinner. So our width, where's our width? It's 76.2. So this is exactly the right size. So let's make this 80. So we have a little bit of extra room. And what you want to do when you do that, on this particular one, we didn't want to make it any taller. So we want to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and undo. We want to make sure that keep ratio is unchecked. So we can just widen this without creating more height. Okay, so we're gonna type that in and hit enter. Now when we do this,
just should step to the right.
It just steps to the right, so you don't need to worry about
anything else.
Anything on the left or the bottom. I believe it steps outward, so it should be the same. So now we have a little bit of room there. Okay, now we still have it selected, so we're just gonna go to contour. And then we're going to go 0.6 bit, which is what we're using. And then we're going to use our contour leveling. And then we're going to hit create. And then it should create the new toolpath.
Unless it crashes.
Usually when it gets this far, it doesn't. If it wants to crash, it will crash within the first like 3 seconds. So. Now it looks like it'll be okay if it takes more than 3 or 4 seconds. All right. So we got that done.
Okay, let me take it from here. Okay, so we have our cutting done, and now we want to go and do the etching part, right? So where do we click on that? Up here?
You already did it. You just need to send it to the you need to send it to the machine.
I got to click the machine.
Right.
Right.
Now we want to check the surface height.
I'm gonna check the surface height.
Right. But let's not hit start engraving yet because we have a problem, right? Because we sent a command
already once
to the machine, so we can't send another one right away. We have to tell the other one just to cancel.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back over to the machine.
Click off of this?
Nope. Leave it exactly the way it is.
Okay. Click this?
Leave this exactly the way that we're going to go to the machine. We're going to get off the computer.
Okay.
Because we need to do one thing on the machine. and that is the red stop button on the right hand side. We're going to press and hold that until we get a long beep, and then let go.
So you hear the double beep?
And yes, so then that just canceled what you're doing. It says, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore.
It clears out whatever it was in the spool.
Right, clears out exactly, like a printer. It's like a printer.
Yeah.
Right, so it only can print one thing at a time.
So we sent something, now we had to clear it out.
Right. So now this is still ready, and we can hit start engraving now. Then it will send a new command to have it cut. And the machine will go and
It's gonna go left. It's gonna go get surface height first.
right, goes back where it should go.
But I don't need to do the boundaries again.
The boundaries are only due at the beginning to make
Right.
sure it's in the right
So how
spot.
do I get it past this?
You can do to start the cutting. It's going to start the cutting
When I hold this down?
as soon as you hold down start. You get a long beep, and you can let it go. And let it go. Then it's going to start engraving. So the first thing it will do, when it does surface height, it's going to go ahead and drop that little tool down. And then something to make sure, this machine was already set up, the last thing it did was cut. So you want to make sure that this pressure tool here is all the way down. Okay. And then this will go ahead and cut.
Does it
entire
go back and
process.
eventually get the inside?
Whatever you see on the screen, it'll do. It has its own way of doing things, the way the machine is programmed. So that's the way.
Well, this is going to take
That's the way
about
it
an hour
works.
or two.
It'll take a little while. And you can check and see when it starts cutting for what we're doing now. You can just make sure that the tool path is doing what you want it to do, because we want to make sure,
It's not leaving a little.
right, we're not leaving any kind of piece in the center there. It's cutting out the whole thing. So that's exactly what we want.
I think we can do this.
Okay? I will stop these.